The carefully staged proposal is a no-show. Instead, I get a call saying my girlfriend went to take care of her guy best friend. She not only turned down my plea, she even accepted his confession of love. I thought I'd fall apart and never climb out, but I turned around and proposed to the childhood friend who'd secretly loved me while fireworks burst across the night sky. My girlfriend and I grew up together, thick as thieves. On the day I proposed, she didn't show. Her pretty boy best friend got sick and she went to nurse him. She ditched me, ditched everything we'd been through, and dragged my face through the mud. Later, I married someone else. She said she regretted it. I didn't. I was even grateful she never came. Today was the day I planned to propose to my girlfriend, Jessica Miller. In a crisp black suit, I stood there stone-faced, fist wrapped tight around the ring box. 2 hours had crawled by. Roses everywhere, friends and family behind me to cheer us on, fireworks set to launch in the distance, and there I stood, listening to the whispers behind me because Jessica still hadn't arrived. Just minutes ago, her friend texted she was downstairs and coming up. I waited another 10 minutes and got another clumsy excuse. Her friend said Jessica suddenly felt unwell and went to the hospital. Hearing that sorry lie, I realized how cold the night felt, but not as cold as a human heart. Jessica wasn't sick. Most likely her dear guy best friend, Jason Smith, was hospitalized again. Not the first time. Jessica and I were childhood sweethearts, from preschool all the way to college. Everyone thought we were made for each other. Even our parents took us for granted. I swore I'd marry no one but Jessica. She swore the same. Everything seemed set for first love to last a lifetime, until Jason showed up. 6 years ago, he slipped between us. He was a new freshman. Jessica and I were running the student union's welcome gala. We literally bumped into each other backstage. While I was busy apologizing, Jason was quietly staring at Jessica. He came from a small county town, slight build, decent features, ordinary in every way but those eyes, bright as stars. He looked at Jessica with those eyes and said, "Senior, you're so pretty. You dazzled me. I walked right into you." One line and they were chatting like old friends. I figured it was just harmless banter between an upperclassman and a newbie. Then Jason started bringing her breakfast. Then they showed up together at my games. Then their photos got awfully cozy. Even after graduation, Jason joined her family's company. It sits right across from mine. I'd go to work with Jessica, then watch her and Jason link arms and head into her building. What a perfect match, her coworkers would say. Except she was my girlfriend. Jessica was Luke Dawson's girlfriend. Other people could forget that, how could she? I choked down my anger and slipped into a corner to call her. I dialed over and over. No answer. I took a breath and video called Jason instead. He picked up on the first try. Jessica answered. Hair mussed, face guilty and torn, lips pressed tight. Her friend had told her I was proposing tonight. She left anyway. The elevator doors slid shut and she never looked back. The whispers around me dimmed to a hush. Luke, I'm sorry I couldn't make it. Next time, okay? Next time I'll propose to you. Why? I stared at her, not understanding where it all went wrong. Why couldn't she spare the 2 minutes to come up and say yes? Jessica was silent, eyes skittering. Her mouth opened, then closed. What happened to Jason? My calm tone made her flinch. Her expression shifted. She forced a smile. Luke, Jason, he's in the hospital. Cancer. You know his family's far away. I'm his only friend here. If I don't come, there's no one to look after him. Cancer? Then sure, go see him. So how is he not dead yet? So you couldn't spare 10 minutes? You couldn't even come upstairs to tell me you'd say yes, really? In that moment, I realized I couldn't see any love from Jessica. She chose Jason without even facing a real either-or. If it ever came down to a choice, it'd be Jason. Luke, he called me in a panic, so So you left? Again and again. Jason the friend. Jason the guy best friend. Jason the soulmate. Next up, boyfriend? I was about to lose it, but I still wanted to give her a chance, to give us a chance. If Jessica would let Jason go, we might still have a future. Luke, Jessica, we're all still here waiting. Everyone's here. For me, could you come back? Just this once. My voice was gentle but firm. A reasonable ask. I could swallow the humiliation. I just needed a clear answer. I gambled on how much this meant to her. She went quiet. I knew. Luke, I can't leave now. Jason says he's feeling really bad. I'm afraid something might happen if he's alone. Head down. She refused me softly, but absolutely. Rage surged in my chest. The ring box nearly snapped in my grip. Years of young love, and a whole crowd of friends helping from noon till night. The leading lady wouldn't even show her face. Did she ever consider what I was supposed to do? It wasn't just becoming a joke for people to point at. What cut deeper was how easily she abandoned me. Have a nurse watch him. Just hurry back, I rasped. Jessica drew a breath and lifted her head. Luke, Jason's late stage. The doctor says he has just over a month left. He just confessed to me. I turned him down, but he asked me to be with him through the end. I said yes. She rattled it out, as if scared I'd get her wrong. Luke, you're the one I love. I promise. I'm only staying with him for this stretch. He's only got a little over a month. Jessica's voice grew choked, tears spilling down her cheeks. When he's gone, I'll propose to you. Staring at her tear-blurred face through the screen, all I could do was laugh. How ridiculous. My girlfriend wanted to stay with the man who just confessed to her. My girlfriend abandoned her own fiancé to take care of her handsome best friend. My girlfriend was about to become someone else's girlfriend. I let out a bitter laugh, despair filling my chest. Jessica, seeing I didn't respond, rushed to swear again. Luke, I swear I love you. I haven't betrayed you, and I never will. When I was 15, I said I'd marry only Luke. I meant it. Luke, just wait for me. There it was again, the same line every time, but I was so tired. The ring slipped from my hand and hit the floor. I hung up, and in that daze accidentally called someone else. Boom, boom, boom! Fireworks burst in the distance. My phone rang with a subordinate's voice. Congratulations, Mr. Dawson. Wishing you and Miss Jessica a long and happy marriage. I didn't answer. I was just exhausted. After this long marathon of love, I was done running. Jessica, I don't need you to propose to me anymore. From now on, there's nothing between us. I'm done waiting. Everything blurred, my chest twisted in pain, and I collapsed. When I woke up in the hospital, I saw my parents' worried faces. The room was crowded with relatives, friends, and Jessica's parents too. They'd all been part of that farce of a proposal. When my mother saw I was awake, she sat beside me, clutching my hand and wiping her tears. Jessica's father looked at me, guilt written all over his face. Luke, you're awake. This is all my daughter's fault. I'm furious with her. Don't worry, I'll set her straight. That's right, Luke. Just focus on recovering. We'll make sure she learns her lesson. She doesn't even know what's important. Everyone knows Jason's no good, yet she still treats him like a friend. Jessica's mother's eyes were red as she kept apologizing. I looked around the room, opened my mouth, then closed it again. Whether they disciplined her or not, it wasn't my business anymore. I had no right to say anything. After all, from now on, she and I had nothing to do with each other. Auntie, let her be. It has nothing to do with me anymore. My tone was calm, but the words dropped like a bomb in the room. The crowd started whispering, then went silent again. Everyone stared at me. I knew it was hard for them to accept so many years together. How could I just let go? And Jason had been between us for 6 years. We'd fought before, sure, but I'd never said anything like this. Auntie, Jessica and I are done. My mom gripped my hand, tears spilling down her cheeks. What is that girl thinking? After all these years, how could she just walk away? What's my son supposed to do now? How can she show her face after humiliating him like that? Sis, calm down. I've already sent someone to find her. Let's figure out what's going on first. I promise she'll give an explanation. After all, Luke and Jessica have been together for years. No way it just ends like that. I frowned and raised my voice, firm and clear. Auntie, Jessica and I are over. There won't ever be an us again. All right, no more us. We're done with her, my mom echoed, thinking I was just angry and humoring me. She ushered everyone out, then hurried to call the doctor, afraid I'd get worked up again. The doctor ran more tests. No major issues, just exhaustion and heartbreak. A few days rest would do. I could even be discharged right away, though Mom insisted I stay. I didn't want her to worry. so I stayed obediently in bed. My parents took turns watching over me, lying beside my dad that night. I made up my mind never to make them worry again. The next afternoon, Jessica called. Or rather, her father came to the hospital and handed me his phone she'd been trying since morning, but I hadn't answered. Under his pleading eyes, I reluctantly took it. My parents and Jessica's father stepped out, leaving us alone. Seeing her face again through the screen after just one night, it suddenly seemed ordinary. Yes, she was beautiful. Jason hadn't lied. She could have passed for a movie star or a pop idol. But now that I'd let everything go, all I saw was a pretty face. Luke, are you okay? I'm sorry. I can't come see you. Jason's not doing well. He had a bad reaction. I need to stay with him. Her eyes brimmed with guilt and worry. I almost laughed and did. It's fine. We're just regular friends now. I smiled, giving her exactly what she wanted to hear. But she didn't like it. Luke, don't say that. Tears spilled down again. She choked on her words. Apologizing. Luke, I'm sorry. Don't say things like that. Let's fix this. Please forgive me, okay? She cried like I was the one abandoning her. And maybe I was. I didn't want her anymore. Sure. Come here right now, and I'll forgive you. I ended the call. She wouldn't come. Jason wouldn't let her go. After all, he'd finally gotten her by his side. No more hiding behind the label of best friend. Why would he ever let her leave? If he'd had the guts to be upfront, I might have respected him. But instead, he stole her bit by bit, like a thief. I stayed in the hospital for 3 days, before slipping home behind my mother's back. Even then, I didn't see Jessica once. Not a call, just one apologetic text. She explained Jason's condition had worsened, and said she was planning to travel with him. Jason himself even called half apology, half showing off. I didn't care. In fact, it reminded me to block and delete him again. The full service. On my first day home, I made it official, posted on my moments that Jessica and I were completely done. Within 3 seconds, my messages blew up. Before I could even open one to enjoy their shock, a video call popped up on my screen. Jennifer Delaney. She was practically my other childhood friend. All of us had grown up together. Jessica and I met in kindergarten. The rest joined along the way, some in grade school, some in high school. Jennifer came into my life halfway through the story. We met in 8th grade when she transferred to our school. She was nothing like Jessica. If Jessica was the pure white moonlight, Jennifer was a blazing red rose. But truth be told, she used to be a little delinquent. When the teacher asked her to introduce herself, she just said her name, then swaggered over to sit beside me, gave a whistle, and said, "Hey, handsome." Not bad. My face darkened instantly. "Hey, Luke, so Jessica finally got together with Jason and dumped you?" On the phone, Jennifer laughed loud and unrestrained, mocking me without a care. We hadn't spoken in a long time. Jessica didn't like me being close to her, so we'd quietly drifted apart. Funny thing is, Jessica got even closer to Jason. She couldn't stand me being just friends with Jennifer, yet she expected me to accept her taking care of Jason through the end of his life. "That's not quite it," I said flatly. "I just don't want her anymore." "Oh, please," Jennifer snorted. "The two of them are already shacked up in a beachside villa." "Oh," I replied without emotion. What did it matter to me? A beach house or whatever. They could share the same urn for all I cared. "You really don't care anymore?" I raised an eyebrow and smiled faintly at her. She studied my face for a while, silent. Before she could speak, I beat her to it. "Jennifer, can I pursue you?" I wasn't joking, and it wasn't out of spite. Years ago, Jessica had overheard Jennifer drunk saying, "If he weren't with her, I'd totally go after Luke." I'm not sure how those words reached Jessica, but they eventually reached me too. Back when Jessica and Jason started getting close, my friends told me to give up. Someone even secretly told Jennifer her chance had come. But I was stubborn, too stubborn to quit. I rejected her again. Now, I wanted her to give me one more chance. "Luke, are you serious right now? Do I look like I'm joking?" "Jennifer, I mean it. My dad's sick terminal cancer. I want him to see me settled before he goes. But don't think I'm using you. Of course, if you're not ready, we can just hold a ceremony first. Keep it from my parents, and I'll start from scratch. Court you properly until you're satisfied." I didn't know what she'd think, but honestly, it was the only way I could think of. Before I proposed, I hesitated too. I was afraid my dad wouldn't have much time left. I never imagined Jessica would forget all of that. She remembered Jason's terminal cancer, but forgot that my father, the man who treated her like his own daughter, was also dying. She forgot how just 2 days ago, he'd held her hand and said he hoped we could marry soon, before it was too late. "Luke, I'm at the airport," she said suddenly. I blinked. "Which airport?" "Luke, I'm coming back for you. I'm at Haicheng Airport in Beihai. Beihai. Haicheng Airport." "That wasn't far," I smiled. "I'll come get you." I grabbed my keys, bought a bouquet on the way, and rushed to the airport. Jennifer stood there, pulling her suitcase, wearing a camel-colored coat. Her wavy hair danced in the breeze. She looked the same, and yet so different. Still bold and fearless, but somehow more composed, more radiant. I walked toward her with the flowers. She spread her arms wide and ran straight at me. With Jessica, it had always been me running to her, but with Jennifer, she was always the one running toward me. I picked up my pace and started to run too. Maybe I could run to her this time, steady and sincere. We hugged, like lovers long separated. They didn't have ranunculus, so I brought roses instead. That'll do. "So, how are you planning to woo me? Movie? Flowers? Gifts? Candlelight dinner? Or something else?" I listed them one by one, though I doubted any would suit her. "All fine by me. When are you asking me out?" I froze for a moment and stepped back slightly. Straightening my posture, I gave a slight bow, one hand behind my back, the other extended toward her. "Lady Jennifer, may I have the honor of a romantic date with you?" She reached out solemnly, and I took her hand just as seriously. We both knew we were making our final choice. The date never happened that night. My father was hospitalized again. When Jennifer and I entered the room hand in hand, everyone looked stunned. "Dad, Mom, this is Jennifer, my girlfriend." "Your future daughter-in-law?" I introduced her earnestly. "Hello, Mr. and Mrs. Dawson. I'm Jennifer." "Oh, sweetheart, welcome, welcome. Come sit. Thank you for coming all this way," my mom said, still confused, but quickly pulling her aside to chat warmly. They knew of Jennifer, but hadn't seen her often. Everyone in our circle knew she was the late Mrs. Delaney's daughter. I glanced at Jessica's parents, who looked uneasy and hesitant, then spoke a few words to Jennifer before stepping out of the room with Jessica's father. "Sir, please don't worry. Our family's partnership won't be affected. I can guarantee that. I wasn't the kind of man to mix business with personal grudges. Even though my family led the deal, I wouldn't risk the company's interests over something so trivial." I was angry with Jessica, yes, but her parents had always treated me well. Jessica's father's face tightened. "Luke, that's not what I meant. I know your family's honorable." "I just meant, are you and Jessica really over? Can't you give her another chance?" Regret? Maybe she would regret it. I didn't know. Just earlier, they'd told me Jessica and Jason were strolling along the beach. But even if she did regret it someday, it wouldn't matter to me anymore. I smiled faintly. "Mr. Miller, no one waits forever. And besides, this isn't the first time, is it?" My words hit him hard. Maybe he remembered the things his daughter had done, because his face went pale. "I understand, Luke. It's Jessica's fault she doesn't deserve you. Don't worry. I'll make sure she never bothers you again." After that, Mr. and Mrs. Miller left. I sent Jennifer and my mom home, then returned to the hospital to stay with my father. Just a few nights ago, he hadn't seemed so frail. How did he suddenly look so much older? The next day, Jennifer came to the hospital with my mom. She sat by the bed, making my parents laugh, but I felt lost. The doctor said my father's condition had taken a sudden turn for the worse. He didn't have much time left. I stepped out into the hallway, standing alone at one end. I stared out the window at the city skyline. "Luke, let's get married right away," Jennifer said, wrapping her arms around me from behind. I held her hands where they rested on my chest, my thumb brushing lightly against her skin. It was what I wanted, but when it actually came to it, I hesitated. She shouldn't have to carry this burden for me. We hadn't even spoken in years before this. I shouldn't have dragged her into my mess. I opened my mouth to refuse, but the words wouldn't come. As if she knew what I was about to say, she covered my mouth with her hand. "If you say no again, I'll knock you out."
and drag you home first, talk later.
I couldn't help but laugh. There was no way I could say no to her anymore. So I nodded and said, okay. The wedding came together in a rush. Meeting her father was hasty too. We didn't even have time for a photo shoot. When I took her to try on the dress, I waited outside the fitting room. When the curtain pulled back, my heart seemed to stop. The white gown hugged her perfectly, the mermaid skirt rippling like waves as she walked. I'd always known she was beautiful. But in that moment, I truly felt it. This stunning woman was about to be mine. I stepped forward, pulled her into my arms. Jennifer, you're beautiful. It was all I could say. All the words I knew suddenly felt too small. She was like a red rose blooming in snow, warm, bright, radiant. I couldn't describe the rush in my chest. For the first time, I felt grateful everything had happened the way it did. Almost regretted not realizing it sooner. Jason, that useless bastard. I kissed her forehead. From now on, I was Jennifer's Luke. The wedding was rushed, but grand. Aside from not having custom rings or a dress, I gave her everything I could. Jennifer was happy, her father satisfied, and I was content too. My parents adored her instantly, calling her daughter-in-law at every turn. Only Jessica was out of the loop. No one told her, not even her own parents. So when I got her call, I was completely caught off guard. A strange number flashed across my work phone. The moment I answered, I heard Jessica sobbing. Luke, how could you do this? Were you two together behind my back? Luke, how could you betray me like this? You know I hate her. Even if you were angry, you shouldn't have ended up with her. Luke, please don't be with her, okay? I'm already on my way back. Just wait for me, we can get married, okay? Her words tumbled out fast, her voice rising until she was full-on crying. Jessica, don't assume everyone's like you and Jason. We're not. We have boundaries. And you and I are done. You already slept with Jason, and you expect me to wait? What do you think I am, some pathetic fool? Or do you want me to share the pictures Jason sent me, so everyone can see what you really are? And another thing, Jessica, Jennifer is my wife. Next time, before you talk about her, take a good look at yourself. I hung up, furious enough to want to slap her through the phone. What an idiot she was. And clearly, not all terminal cancer is created equal. My dad was bedridden, while those two were still in bed together. People with filthy hearts see filth everywhere. Jennifer pressed her hand against my chest to calm me down. Don't be mad, she whispered. I pouted. Wife, she's slandering me. Jessica did come back. She showed up outside my house the night of my wedding, but I was too busy with my wedding night to care. The next morning, as Jennifer and I got ready to register our marriage, the housekeeper told me Jessica had been standing outside for hours. Jason was with her, but since we'd changed the door code overnight and told the staff not to let her in, she couldn't get past the gate. Apparently, Jason collapsed right there and was taken to the hospital. I didn't care. She texted saying she regretted everything. I replied, I don't, not even a little. Marrying Jennifer was the best decision of my life. Then I took Jennifer to see my lawyer, transferring all my properties and most of my parents' holdings into her name. I made it clear what was hers before marriage. This is a wedding gift, from my parents to their daughter-in-law, and from me to my wife. Jennifer tried to refuse, saying the dowry was already too much. I teased, if you don't sign, we're not getting the license. Let's go home then. With no choice, she quickly signed and came with me to the registry office. Holding that red marriage booklet in my hands, I felt a peace I hadn't known in years. I was officially a married man. I took photos, posted them on Moments, on Weibo, on every social platform I had. Stay away from me, especially those who keep asking me out. I'm not like you guys anymore. I have a wife. Then I locked the marriage certificate in the safe. 2 weeks later, my father finally passed away. Jennifer stayed beside me and Mom, helping with every part of the funeral. At the memorial, I saw Jessica again, for the first time in months. It had only been a month or two, yet it felt like years. Standing beside Jennifer, I gave Jessica a polite bow. She stood silently, eyes red, face pale, thinner than I remembered. She placed white chrysanthemums before my father's casket and bowed deeply. Luke, I'm sorry for your loss. And I'm sorry. I finally looked up at her. Sorry for what? Whatever she was apologizing for, I didn't need it. Apologies don't help the person who was hurt. They only make the guilty feel better. Besides, I truly was grateful she hadn't shown up that night. So I said it out loud, as I should. Thank you for not coming that day. Otherwise, I'd never have had the chance to marry my wife. Jennifer nudged me and shot me a glare. I turned my gaze toward my father's smiling photo. Yeah, Dad would have approved. My eyes burned. Jessica burst into tears and ran out. I never saw her again after that. I heard Jason eventually died. Well, so be it. He got his wish to die in Jessica's arms. Fitting enough. I didn't attend the funeral. Word was Jessica stood beside his parents, bowing to guests the same way I once had. Who knows in what capacity? I almost wanted to go and ask, but Jennifer wouldn't let me. Pity. Work piled up endlessly, but I finally managed to clear a few days. I could finally take Jennifer on our honeymoon. We traveled to many places together, experiencing lives so different from our own. The last stop was Indonesia. We woke up before dawn, riding a jeep through the darkness. Standing on the trail by the viewing platform, we watched the sunrise climb slowly over the distant mountains. The golden light bathed the peaks in her radiant face. As she shouted joyfully toward the horizon, I tightened my grip on the custom-made ring in my hand. When the sun fully rose, I knelt down on one knee. I didn't ask if she would marry me. I asked if I could chase her for the rest of my life. She didn't say I do. She just asked, which hand? Facing the newborn son, in a foreign land, before strangers who witnessed our moment, we made our eternal promise. We held each other tightly, pressing one another into our hearts, keeping each other there. I think heaven was kind to me. It handed my broken self, all in pieces, to Jennifer, and she took me without hesitation, fitting me back together piece by piece. Jennifer wore the ring I designed for her, slipped into the wedding dress I helped create, and with me by her side, she took the most unique wedding photos in the world. The day I showed off my wife online again, Jessica messaged me asking if she could have the ring I'd once given her or buy it from me. I thought for a second, then sold it at half price to one of my Playboy friends. He wanted to use it to impress his new fling. The size was just right. Holding my wife in my arms, I couldn't stop smiling. Later, Jennifer and I became known as the model couple in our circle, and I somehow became the poster child for a perfect husband. We had a handsome son and a lovely daughter. We walked through this life hand in hand. Jennifer said she'd go before me, and she did. I stayed by her bedside, holding her hand, telling her to wait for me, that in our next life, I wanted to grow up with her as childhood sweethearts, then grow old together again. People in our circle always said it was a pity she hadn't been my childhood love. Otherwise, our story would have been legendary. I thought so too. So I asked Jennifer to promise me the next lifetime. She said yes. I gave our children my final instructions, then closed my eyes and laid down beside her. This time, I wouldn't let her wait too long.